the genesis of why you wrote this book and the reception that it had. It was very much counterintuitive to a lot of what was being written at the time.
I was very intrigued when Obama first came on the national stage in early 2008, winning the Iowa caucuses. And the first thing I did was get a paperback copy of his memoir, Dreams from My Father. And reading that, for me as a historian, it was very clear that this was not historical storytelling, that this was memoir as fiction with pseudonyms for most of the people, composite characters. And so I was very curious about the real story of Obama's three community organizing years on the far south side of Chicago, 1985 to 1988. And so after doing about a year's worth of reading, in the spring of 2009, I went to Chicago to meet both the white guys who'd been his mentors, and all the black people down on the far south side who had been in the community organization that Barack staffed. My first intent originally was just to perhaps do some long magazine piece. But then within the course of about a year, it became clear that it was worth doing a comprehensive book that would also cover Obama's years in Illinois politics, which had not been thoroughly researched either. Even then, looking back on the campaign coverage in 2007, 2008, it was very striking to me how incurious much of the journalism was. That they were sort of taking the Obama campaign handouts and going to interview people who were recommended by Obama's staff.
Well, let me just stop there for a second, because there has been this sense of a very partisan divide within the media, which also implies there's a certain portion of the media that's been very much critical of Obama, including at the time when your book came out. I want to, now that we've had 6+ years pass, how do you feel? Do you feel there's been a revisionist view of Obama? Do you feel that what motivated you to do the book continues today, this sort of incurious halo, whatever you would call it, around the Obamas?
There was so much hostility towards Barack when he was president from the far right, in particular the birtherism problem, which the Obama people should have taken more seriously than they did. I mean, it's understandable that they thought it was a crock, but it came to have a very large footprint. Though there's, absolutely no question he was born in Honolulu, Hawaii, period. I think as the years have gone by, after what I think everyone realized was an underwhelming presidency compared to the outsized, really impossible expectations that existed when he first won election in November 2008. I think as the years have gone by, people are more able to acknowledge the real shortcomings of the Obama presidency, particularly in foreign policy. The war in Ukraine has highlighted that, how back in 2014, the Obama administration didn't react very strongly when the Putin dictatorship seized Crimea and then invaded the eastern Donbass. Similarly, with Obama's failure to respond to the use of chemical weapons against civilians in Syria. Another very serious blot